Look at this clay ball. If I told you it prevented theft in the ancient world, would you believe me? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, you probably have a few questions like, how? Why was it so effective and who made it? Well, let's take a trip back in time. And don't worry, we're not using my sense of direction, otherwise we'd probably end up in the wrong century.
The year is 8000 BCE. We're in the bustling Mesopotamian city of Uruk, located in modern-day Iraq, right next to the Euphrates River. This is where we meet Ludari, a merchant with a serious problem. Ludari's business is booming. He sends out trade caravans loaded with goods, expecting them to return with valuable items from distant lands. But time and time again, he faces the same issue. His shipments get tampered with, and some of his goods mysteriously disappear along the way.
One day, as he's tallying his inventory using the small clay tokens, an idea strikes him. What if he could use the tokens as a simple way to keep his shipments arriving intact? And thus, the bulla is born, a simple yet effective anti-theft device.
Ludari's next trade mission is a high-stakes one. He's sending a caravan to the Kokcha River in modern-day Afghanistan to bring back lapis lazuli, a stunning blue gemstone highly sought after for dyes and jewellery.
The caravan departs, and for a year Ludari is anxiously waiting. And quite honestly, I sympathise with him. I've also been waiting for a whole year just to get a text back, and well, it should be coming any day now.
Then, finally, the traders return. They bring with them 10 of the finest lapis lazuli gemstones, but more importantly, they hand Ludari a sealed clay ball.
Excitedly, he takes his hammer and he smashes open the bulla. Inside, he counts out 10 tokens, one for each of the gemstones that he received. Nothing is missing and everything is in check. Honestly, I don't even get this level of accuracy with my online shopping. Like, I'll ask for carrots and I'll get a carrot cake. Like, how could I use that in a stir fry?
The bulla was essentially a contract. Before the caravan left, Ludari sealed the correct number of tokens inside the clay ball and stamped it with his personal seal.
If anyone tampered with the shipment, the ball would have been broken, an instant sign that something was amiss. Not only did this system deter thieves, it also helped merchants build trust. In fact, over time, the mere presence of the bulla alone was enough to signify that nothing had been stolen. In fact, some merchants went as far as not even to crack them open in the first place. This was the ancient equivalent of what we see today with trucks with the tamper-proof seals. But theft wasn't the only problem that traders faced. Now, speaking of seals, this brings us on to perhaps the most fascinating innovation of the ancient world: cylinder seals. Basically, the ancient equivalent of a business logo.
A cylinder seal was a small, carved stone or clay object, typically about an inch or two long. The merchants and officials would roll over wet clay to create an impression. These impressions were like signatures, contracts, or even branding tools.
If you were an ancient Mesopotamian trader, you wouldn't just send the goods and hope for the best. You would want the people to know the goods had come from you.
Cylinder seals often had unique engravings, sometimes pictorial scenes, sometimes cuneiform writing, indicating ownership, identity, or even company logos.
Imagine you're a trader dealing with wool. Your cylinder seal might depict a flock of sheep and shepherds, and this mark would be stamped onto every single package that you send out so that people knew who they're dealing with. And this is basically an early form of brand recognition, way before the time of Nike swooshes and the McDonald's golden arches.
These seals weren't just for trade, they were also worn as jewellery, pressed onto official documents, and even buried with their owners as status symbols. Some were so intricate that they functioned as a form of art, showcasing the skill of ancient engravers.
The importance of branding wasn't just about showing off, it was about trust. If your seal was on the shipment, it reassured buyers they were getting exactly what they paid for. And in a world where long distance trade was risky, the seal could make or break your reputation. Fast forward to 1750 BCE, to the city of Nazir sits in his house with a complaint from a client. If you think bad customer service is just a modern problem, think again. Nazir might be the world's first dodgy businessman. He strikes a deal with a customer called Nani to deliver high-quality copper ingots from the land of Dilmun. But when Nani's servant comes to collect the copper, he finds that it's far from the promised quality. When he complains, Nazir basically says, "Take it or leave it." Big mistake. Nani is furious. Instead of just walking away, he takes the time to pen what could be considered the world's first official customer complaint. And he does not hold back.
Tell Nazir, Nani sends the following message. When you came, you said to me, I will give fine quality copper ingots. You left, but you did not do what you promised me. You have withheld my money bag from me in enemy territory. It is now up to you to restore to me in full. Take notice that I will not accept any copper from you that is not of fine quality. I shall select and take the ingots individually in my yard, and I shall exercise against you my right of rejection because you have treated me with contempt.
Basically, Nani says, I'm not letting this slide, and he even threatens to inspect every single copper ingot next time. But here's the twist. Nazir actually responds, and he's surprisingly diplomatic.
Tell Nani, Nazir sends the following message. May the god Shamash keep you forever in good health. Since I have listened to the message you gave me, I have not slept at night on account of my concern for you, that you have not received the quality of ingot that you desire. Make ready for my messenger, who I have sent to you with all haste, bearing my finest quality copper ingots. He travels also with your silver, that should you reject my fine copper, he may restore to you the full measure of your payment.
In short, he's saying, look mate, I hear you, I haven't been able to sleep over this, so I'm sending my best quality copper to you, and your money back just in case you don't like it. Sound familiar? In short, this is ancient customer service at work. Now let's talk about when traders and merchants decided to bend the rules. Because in ancient Mesopotamia, the consequences for fraud, theft, and negligence weren't just a slap on the wrist. The punishments could be quite severe. Remember Nazir, the copper merchant with questionable business practices? Well, if Nani had decided to take him to the authorities, then Nazir would have been facing more than just an angry letter. In ancient Mesopotamian law, fairness in trade was taken extremely seriously, and we know this thanks to the oldest recorded law codes in history, the Code of Hammurabi, written about 1754 BCE. Hammurabi, the king of Babylon, laid out 282 different laws, many of which concerned commerce, and the laws didn't just concern theft, but they accounted for the quality of goods, fair pricing, and accountability of traders. For example,
if a merchant sold goods of lower quality than promised, they could be heavily fined or even banned from trading. If a trader delivered the wrong quantity, they had to repay up to 10 times the amount they shortchanged. If a builder constructed a house that collapsed and caused a death, the builder himself could be sentenced to death.
And if you thought stealing from a shipment was a smart way to make a quick profit, think again.
If someone was caught stealing from a merchant's caravan, they could be executed right there on the spot. If a dishonest middleman tried to tamper with goods before delivery, they could have their hand cut off.
Brutal? Absolutely. At least they'd have a free hand to try something else. These harsh laws were designed to protect trust in trade, without which long-distance trade simply wouldn't work. Merchants relied on contracts, seals, and records to ensure they got what they paid for. If someone violated this, they weren't just risking their reputation, they were risking their lives. So while Nazir might have gotten away with some bad business practices, in a different situation, his customer service issues might have landed him in some serious trouble. While Nazir might have tried to cut corners, the fact that Nani was willing to hold him accountable really points to the fact that the Mesopotamian trade system was far more advanced than we might actually expect. The use of bullae to prevent theft, cylinder seals for brand recognition, and the use of written contracts all points to a highly organised economy. And really, not much has changed, whether it's tracking shipments, sealing containers, or writing angry reviews on Google. The ancient Mesopotamians really did face all the same trade issues that we face today. So the next time you open a sealed package or write a 1-star review, remember that you're carrying on a tradition that started over 5,000 years ago, albeit the consequences aren't so strict today. And while you're here, why don't you check out this video next?